to take a moment to respond to Father's homily. Especially in that point when he talks about youth. That's very interesting. Interesting because the word that is used in the scriptures in reference to the priesthood is presbyter. We're priests, we're presbyters. The word presbyters means elder. But the interesting fact is that, as Father was telling us, when we are called to be elders, we're called from our youth. It's an interesting thing. Unlike any other career or vocation, the priesthood gets better with age. I'm telling you that.
I still got 15 more years.
What?
I still got 15 more years.
Yes. When his anniversary is on Friday, so he'll be 5 years ordained a priest. But so congratulations, Father. It's ordination season, so if you look at the Facebook, at least my Facebook is filled with ordinations happening all over the world, all over the planet, ordinations and graduations. You know, I was looking at some graduation comments that people give to those who graduate, and people don't realize what they're writing. You know, because somebody's graduating from high school, and then they write something like, "I can't believe you graduated." It's supposed to be a compliment. You know, but it actually sounds more like, "You don't believe I graduated?" You know? I honestly do not believe I'm a priest. Every day I thank God for that. But every day I ask the Lord to continue to strengthen me and to strengthen my brothers in the priesthood. Though we're presbyters and we're elders, a priest should never lose his youth. Never. Because the gospel is always new. It's the good news. There has to be a newness to the gospel. Though we grow old and more stubborn with age, you're getting to see me in my middle-age crisis. You're about to see it unfold the next 5 years. That church is going to be my mid-age crisis. Some people buy a Corvette. I'll get you a church. But in truth, one should never allow age to dominate the gospel. The message of the gospel should always remain young. That's why those readings have not changed for the last 20 years. Those were the readings that I picked for my ordination mass. And those are the readings that I hope one day I read at my funeral. Even if they still talk about youth. And by then, hopefully, I hope to make it to old age. Because I think there has to be some youthfulness in every priest. Because that's what the message of the gospel does to us. A priest who loses touch with youthfulness has lost touch with the gospel. He gets old. The world gets old. The world gets tired. The world decays. One should always be renewed by the message of Jesus Christ, that He has promised us a new world and a new life. So we should never allow ourselves. I ask you to pray for me and to pray for all the priests. I've been there with Bishop Weissenberger recently and some of our parishioners. And priests are going through hard times. It is not easy to be a priest today. I ask you to pray for all priests. Also for a culture. Some people have said that the reason all the crisis going on is because of clericalism. There might be something to it, as Pope Francis has told us, but there is a lot of anti-clericalism around. A lot. And as a priest, I've experienced it since the seminary. The spirit of anti-clericalism, one always finds itself fighting against it as a priest on a daily basis. Because it's a temptation. It's a temptation to want to divest Jesus Christ, to make him invisible, so no one can see him. But that's not what the priesthood is all about. It's not about being clericalist or being anti-clerical. On the contrary, it's for the truth. It's to be alter Christus, another Christ. Another Christ, and take the responsibilities that Christ is giving us and carry them forward. That's my vocation as a priest. One last word to my altar servers, our altar servers. From the youth God called, I want you to seriously consider the priesthood. Recently, I saw a video of a bishop, and you can probably Google it as I'm about to quote him, and you'll find the full homily that he gave at a priest's ordination last year, in which he posed this question to those about to be ordained. The world teaches us that in order for us to achieve great tasks, we must try to be strong. What keeps a priest for a long time is not strength. The strength comes from the people with him, to be honest. Remember in the Old Testament when Moses was raising his hands in order to pray, the people were raising his hands. He couldn't keep them up for long. So the people had to raise the hands of Moses. So in the same way, the strength of the priest comes from the people that are behind him, not from himself. But what this archbishop was saying is that what is the strength of the priest? What keeps him going? Is not the strength, but the awareness of his weaknesses. To be aware of your weaknesses, to own your weaknesses as a priest. It is easier to survive a storm if you know how weak you are. It is easier than to pretend you're too strong for it. So as we've been venturing the storms for the past few decades, I try to keep myself humble, aware of my weaknesses. And I ask the Lord every day, Lord, show me my weaknesses so I know them, so I'm aware of them, so I don't fall like a big tree. So I ask you to pray for all the priests that the Lord may show us our weaknesses. St. Paul says, because when you are weak, it is when you're strong. That is, interiorly, I need to be aware of those weaknesses, of my weaknesses. So I ask you to pray for me. Pray for Father Marco, because he's very weak.
He's small and short.
Haz muchos años, brother. Many more years. And thank you. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.